Hello and welcome to Geek History Lesson. I'm Jason Dr. Inman.
And I'm Ashley Victoria Robinson. Welcome to the Sanctum Sanctorum that is your mind university, because you have stumbled onto the podcast where we teach you about one character, construct, or magician from popular culture in about an hour. And we have a very exciting lesson this week because Doctor Strange is upon us.
Yes, that's right, because a major Marvel motion picture is going to open very soon this week, and we thought we would reveal the secrets of the Sorcerer Supreme. Now, this has been one of our most requested Geek History lessons ever.
It's so you say.
Yes. So let me read to you who of our many listeners has suggested that we cover Doctor Strange.
All right, I'm ready.
Kyle Morgan, A Story in the End, Epic Face Master, Andrew Lewis Perry, James Pint Westrom, Ritvik Rahan, at Disciple of Ren, at Paradigm Shift PC, and Aaron Jack Edwards. Those are all the students at the Mind University that have been like, Professor Ashley, Professor Jason, please do Doctor Strange.
So now we have a whole cavalcade of TAs in case anybody in the back gets rowdy.
Oh my God, I'm going to have so many things stapled, and that's why we're going to move right into the 10-cent origin.
Which is the first part of the podcast where we teach you the basic constructs, creators, and power sets of this character in case you should go to a cool cocktail party and someone's like, yo, who's this Doctor Strange guy?
That's right. He was published by Marvel Comics. First appearance in Strange Tales, very appropriate, I think. Strange Tales number 110 of July of 1963. He was created by Steve Ditko, who also co-created Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And his full name is Stephen Vincent Strange.
I bet that's an homage.
Yep. His team affiliations are the New Avengers, the Illuminati, the Defenders, the Order, and the Midnight Suns.
Nice.
He has a partner in Clea, who is also his wife. Notable aliases have been Stephen Saunders and Vincent Stevens. And his abilities are a mastery of magic, and he was trained in modern medical science.
Cool.
He is a real doctor.
He's an actual medical MD.
Yes. Now let's move on into the Meet Cute, Ashley.
Which is the part of the podcast where we stole a term from romantic comedy writing. We're going to tell you where we first met this character and how cute it was.
Ashley, where did you first encounter the good Doctor Strange?
I kind of have no idea because I've never read a Doctor Strange standalone.
Not even the Brian K. Vaughan series?
Not even the much lauded Brian K. Vaughan series. I'm assuming, depending on how much I like this movie, that will change that or not.
But you've read him in team books.
I've read him in team books, yeah. So the answer is probably Civil War, which is where most of my Marvel characters lie. But I wasn't much of an Avengers reader or a Defenders reader, so he was never a character that was really on my radar, unfortunately.
Yes.
So this is one that's really hard for me to tie down because I've just never had that much involvement with the character.
Okay, cool.
So how about you?
Well, I met Dr. Stephen Strange.
Your buddy, your personal friend.
My good guy, Dr. Vincent Strange. Give me a discount on all my aches and pains.
That's awesome.
I met Dr. Stephen Strange in an artifact of the old-timey machine that I haven't talked about in this podcast for quite a while in a Meet Cute. That is Wizard Magazine.
It returns. It rears its head at last.
Wizard Magazine, if you don't know, is this really cool comic book magazine that was the best comic book magazine around for most of the 90s, early 2000s. Now, Wizard Magazine used to have this section with strange facts on characters. And one of them was about how Doctor Doom once also tried to be the Sorcerer Supreme.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was my first inkling of who the hell is this Doctor Strange guy, because I knew who Doctor Doom was because I was a big fan of the Fantastic Four. I also remember once seeing him in a Silver Surfer comic pack once.
Okay.
If you remember the Walmart packs of comics that I mentioned on a couple episodes ago, I once picked up a Silver Surfer comic in one of those, and Doctor Strange was in the Silver Surfer comic.
Because why not?
But I truly did not understand or appreciate who Doctor Strange was until the Brian K. Vaughan miniseries called The Oath.
Yes.
Which I think is the best Doctor Strange story of all time.
I would say that most everyone agrees with you on that.
Cool. And let's, because of that, move into History 101.
The main meat of the lesson where Professor Jason is going to invite us inside his sanctum sanctorum of knowledge on Doctor Strange.
Now, before we get started on this.
Caveat.
You say that, I don't. A lot of this lesson is comic book magic gobbledygook and doesn't make a lick of sense at all. You can try to understand it, but I'm telling you right now, it does not make sense. Okay?
Great.
So just go with it, and anytime you're confused, just think, magic.
Comics. A wizard did it.
Comics magic. Stephen Strange is one of these characters that didn't get a lot of respect or good stories until very recent.
Okay.
He literally just fights a lot of people that want to take his title of Sorcerer Supreme over and over again.
Okay.
And also, fair warning, this might be a longer than usual geek history lesson, and apologies for that.
That's okay.
Okay. Now, on to a little bit of publication history.
Okay.
Artist Steve Ditko and writer Stan Lee have described the character as originally being an idea of Steve Ditko.
Okay.
Scripter Lee's take on the character was inspired by Shandu the Magician, which was a radio program that aired on the Mutual Broadcasting System in the 1930s.
Okay.
He had Doctor Strange accompany spells with elaborate incantations, though often these reference established mythological figures. Stan Lee has said that he never had any real idea what any of the incantations meant and used them simply because he thought they sounded mysterious.
Okay.
And Steve Ditko in the Doctor Strange comic book showcase surrealistic mystical landscapes and increasingly vivid visuals that help make the feature a favorite of college students at the time. College students who may have been inebriated.
Perhaps. I think that would be a solid guess.
And now onto the fictional character history of Dr. Stephen Strange.
All right, teach me.
He was born to Eugene and Beverly Strange in 1930 while the couple was vacationing in Philadelphia. In 1932, Stephen's sister Donna was born at the family's Nebraska farm. Stephen Strange from Nebraska. Knowing that Strange was destined to become the next Sorcerer Supreme, a resentful apprentice sorcerer Carl Mordo, who will be important in the movie, beset the child with demons from the age of 8 to adulthood, as he was jealous that this kid would be better at magic than him.
Okay.
Ultimately, Strange was rescued by Mordu's master, the Ancient One, a mystic protector of the Earth realm, and the then current Sorcerer Supreme. A year or two after the torment began, Stephen's brother Victor was born, and at age 11, Stephen aided an injured Donna, an experience which ultimately fostered in him an interest in medicine.
He wanted to help people. That's so nice.
Yep. Stephen entered New York City College as a pre-med student directly out of high school, and later, while home on vacation for his 19th birthday, Strange was swimming with Donna when she suffered from a cramp. After a frantic search, Stephen had found her already drowned.
That seems like it came out of a lot of fear that this would happen.
Yep. The experience left him with a sense of personal failure.
Aw, bummer.
Stephen earned his medical degree at Columbia University in record time.
Columbia's a good school.
Faster than anybody else had at the time previously, and entered a 5-year residency at the then New York Presbyterian Hospital, which his rapid success soon made him a very arrogant doctor.
Typical.
Stephen's mother, Beverly, died near the end of his residency, and work became more and more impersonal for him, for this bereaved surgeon. He lost his bedside manner very quickly, and his skills soon did make him the best doctor at the hospital, and he became very wealthy by the time he was 30.
I think it's interesting that he became a surgeon. So, he was always interested in the intricacies and the inner workings of things.
2 years after his mother's death, Strange's father, Eugene, fell very ill. Already crippled by the grief of his mother's death, though Stephen Strange would never admit it, Stephen was unable to face any more tragedy and refused to visit his father's deathbed.
Aw, that's really sad.
A few days later, his brother Victor confronted Steve in his apartment over his apparent lack of grief, and following the confrontation, Victor rushed from the apartment and walked straight into the path of an oncoming car.
Well, I know what the first act of the movie is going to be now.
Victor died, and a guilt-racked Stephen placed Victor's body in cold storage, half hoping that future medical breakthroughs could revive him.
Right next to their producer, Walt Disney.
Yep. So Dr. Strange don't care about no family.
Apparently not.
Soon, Dr. Strange was involved in a debilitating car accident. Dr. Nicodemus West, a brilliant surgeon in his own right and an admirer of Dr. Stephen Strange, agreed to do the surgery. Though he was able to save Strange's life, the nerves in Dr. Strange's hands were severely damaged.
Ooh, no good.
Now, Dr. Strange's medical career was over, and he was too vain to accept any positions as a consultant or an assistant, which many doctors offered to him.
Interesting. This is kind of a theme I found in a lot of Marvel characters who came out of the 60s and 70s where they don't want to take the desk job.
Yeah, right?
Very interesting.
Steve exhausted his fortune following every rumored and experimental treatment, no matter how ineffective. And in a matter of months, the once wealthy surgeon became a derelict and resorted to performing a number of shady, behind-the-scenes medical procedures to survive.
Ooh, that's no good.
Yep. He also paid, it was the only way he could pay for his growing bar tabs, because, of course, he became an alcoholic.
Like every other Marvel character.
Yep. And soon, Stephen's guilt over the mistakes of his early life and the death of various family members would soon weigh very heavily upon him. Upon hearing the rumors of the mystical Ancient One, Stephen pawned his last possession for a ticket to the East. And Strange found the Ancient One's Tibetan palace, but the aged sorcerer refused to cure him, instead offered to teach him mysticism.
Ooh, magic.
Strange refused. Told him screw off.
Steven.
Yep.
Come on.
But he couldn't leave immediately due to a sudden blizzard that surrounded the Ancient One's home.
Sure.
While staying for the duration of the storm, Dr. Strange witnessed the Ancient One's apprentice, Baron Mordo, remember him? Secretly attacked the teacher with mystically summoned skeletons, which the old man easily dispelled.
Easily, huh?
Now, Strange, his skepticism eroding, confronted Mordo about the treachery, but Mordo responded with restraining spells that kept Strange from warning the Ancient One or attacking Mordo physically.
Okay. That's cool. That's pretty cool.
Amazed by these displays of magic, Strange underwent a change of heart, deciding the only way to stop Mordo was to learn magic himself in order to challenge Mordo on his own terms. Strange accepted the Ancient One's offer.
I guess I'll learn how to do magic if it'll, help or whatever.
Pleased by Strange's acceptance for unselfish reasons, the Ancient One removed the mystic restraints, explaining that he was well aware of Mordo's treachery, but preferred to keep Mordo close by in order to control him and possibly change him.
Well, that's logical.
The Ancient One had known of Strange and his potential to serve as the Sorcerer Supreme prior to Strange's first encounter with him, regarding his hidden prowess so highly that he rejected Damon Hellstrom for Strange as his pupil. The Ancient One had always planned to make Doctor Strange his successor.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, Strange spent years under the Ancient One's tutelage, learning to tap the innate magical powers of himself and the world around him, as well as how to invoke the powers of principalities, powerful beings such as Dormammu, Satanish,
Dormammu,
and the Vishanti, who resided in their own mystical realms.
Interesting.
And a few years after Strange's arrival, Mordo left the Ancient One's palace to seek the greater power. He may have more than one palace. I don't know for a fact.
May have a mind palace.
And the two rivals, Strange and Mordo, would clash in the future.
Cool.
It was during that time that Doctor Strange passed the test against Death himself.
What?
And as a reward,
chess?
No, this is not the seventh seal.
Aw.
Doctor Strange was given ageless life because of this, with an Ankh-shaped mark on his forehead that would only appear when his life was in dire jeopardy. The Ancient One himself had attained near immortality by passing this same very test over 600 years earlier.
Wow, that's impressive.
So Stephen Strange is ageless.
He's old.
So Doctor Strange then ended his tutelage after 7 years and returned to the United States. And as the Sorcerer Supreme, Doctor Strange became a mystic consultant, establishing his Sanctum Sanctorum in New York's Greenwich Village. Excuse me. I tried to correct myself, even though I was correct.
You were correct.
He was attended by Wong, the latest in a century-old bloodline that had served the Ancient One, and who had become both Strange's servant and friend.
Cool.
And during this time, Strange fought the demonic entities such as the Possessors, Agamon, I don't know how to say that name, the House of Shadows, Zota, the Bottle Imp, and Klog.
Great names.
Yep.
All of them great.
Strange also fought the otherworldly Nightmare, who fed upon dreaming humanity's terror and became one of Strange's most bitter enemies.
Ooh.
And the mysterious doctor's reputation grew as Strange became an occasional consultant to local and federal authorities.
Okay.
Hey, we need to find this child. Yes, I can do that. I'm Dr. Strange.
I'm sure.
After the debut of the Fantastic Four,
Hey,
Strange ignored a lot of the emerging superheroes.
Okay.
He had an encounter with Loki and Thor also as well. But soon after this, a clash with Mordo led Strange to ally with the young Spider-Man, who helped Doctor Strange rescue several people from a mystical dimension. The experience proved so traumatic that Spider-Man asked Strange to remove their memories of the event, though this caused them to forget Spider-Man's heroism as well. Impressed by the young hero's bravery and altruism, Strange came to regard him as a friend, and the two have teamed up and become close friends over the many years.
I think that might be an interesting thread that we might see show up in the MCU.
I think you might be right. The dread Dormammu, sensing his old adversary, the Ancient One's declining power, soon challenged Strange to a mystic duel in his dark dimension as part of a larger plan to invade the Earth realm.
The Earth realm.
While there, Strange was approached by Clea, a novice mystic, and though few knew it at the time, daughter of Dormammu's sister, Umar.
Ooh, I didn't know that. That's very interesting.
Clea feared that if Dormammu fell as ruler of the Dark Dimension, dimensional barriers would weaken and the realm would be ravaged by the Mindless Ones, these sort of demonic creatures of the Marvel Universe.
Ooh, creepy.
Clea thus sought to prevent the duel, but Strange would not yield because he's prideful.
He is very prideful.
Yep. Dormammu easily outmatched Strange, but in the process lost just enough of his energies that the Mindless Ones were able to invade. Seeking to save the Dark Dimension's denizens, Strange let Dormammu enough power to restore the barrier. Enraged by his own weakness, Dormammu felt honor-bound to spare Stephen, who in turn bargained with him to spare both the Earth realm and the very attractive Clea.
Well, that's convenient. Lucky for her to be attractive.
Yes, if she wasn't attractive, who knows how that would have gone.
Dead.
The vengeful Dormammu never forgot the humiliation, however, and became one of Strange's most terrible enemies. Have you noticed that there is a lot of terrible enemies that Strange can find?
There's a lot of vengefulness and there's a lot of magic.
But it wasn't long before Doctor Strange saw Clea again. Months after attending the wedding of Reed and Sue Richards, Strange was reunited with his own love, Clea, who came to live with him in New York.
Oh, that's very modern.
Yep. Soon the cosmic entity known as Eternity, whom Strange was aiding at the time, agreed to create Strange's anonymity by altering all relevant earthly documents and memories bearing the name Stephen Strange to Stephen Saunders. Strange next resisted the invading Undying Ones, a race of demons that had once dominated the Earth and were led by the infernal Nameless One. A lot of ones.
Oh my God, there's so many ominous ones.
To face the onslaught, Strange manipulated Prince Namor of Atlantis and the monstrous Hulk into aiding him. With the Undying Ones defeated, Strange seemed to believe the world was safe from further incursion, but Strange was troubled by his arrogant exploitation of Namor and Hulk, and however, decided to forego magic, and return to medicine. I had to strike that, reverse it.
There you go.
He decided to return to medicine as a consultant, selflessly performing the duties he once thought was beneath him.
That's nice. I think that's a nice development that he's undergone.
But as I said, you're going to notice he became afraid because he was using a little bit of dark magic. It's going to be a recurring theme here.
All right.
Strange's return to medicine, however, only lasted a few weeks.
Bummer.
After Baron Mordo tried to kill him, Strange returned to sorcery and defeated Mordo with the help of the Ancient One. The Ancient One, for reasons of his own, reversed Eternity's spell, restoring the name Stephen Strange to the world's records and memories. And shortly thereafter, the Nameless One returned, and Strange donned his non-masked robes to confront the threat alongside Namor and the Hulk, becoming friends with them despite their differences. The three were soon joined by the alien the Silver Surfer to form the core of a team known as the Defenders, a loose-knit non-team that reunite sporadically to meet threats against the Earth.
A loose-knit non-team. I like that.
And then we get to a Brian Michael Bendis retcon and the first appearance of the Marvel Illuminati. Do you know what that is, Ashley?
Not really. A secret society?
The Illuminati is basically this secret group of Earth's most powerful heroes.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And then so basically to set this up, following the Kree Skrull War, do you know what that is, Ashley?
It is a war between the Kree and the Skrull.
Basically, yeah, they fight each other in space.
That's exactly what it sounds like.
The Kree being the race that Captain Marvel comes from.
Yes.
And the Skrulls being the green shape-shifting alien guys.
Cool chins.
Yes, the Skrulls are the people who they renamed to the Chitauri in the Ultimates, which later got renamed in the Avengers.
Yes.
The Avengers movie, I mean.
Yes.
Now, the Illuminati is a number of Earth's most powerful heroes, as I said, that includes Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, Professor X, Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic, and Namor. They form the Illuminati.
No ladies, I see.
Nope. They are a secretive group of Earth's most influential heroes who would only meet a few times and only to tackle events of extraordinary importance. While certain Illuminati members were unable to attend certain meetings, such as Xavier and Iron Man, Doctor Strange attended all the known meetings, adding the viewpoint and perspective of his decades of battling mystic evil around him.
Cool.
Now, the Illuminati decided to attack the alien Skrull race, and they attacked their homeworld and to deliver a warning not to endanger the planet Earth again.
I bet that worked.
No, it didn't, because they got captured, they got experimented on, and they got an analyses. This enabled the Skrulls to eventually perform enough reverse biological engineering and cloning to gather the resources required to later launch a covert invasion. A secret invasion? Shh.
Oh, okay. I won't talk about it.
It's secret.
Oh, you're right.
After that, Strange came under attack by the servants of the Old One, Shuma Gorath, a vast extra-dimensional entity who had ruled Earth millennia ago, but was banished in the Hyborian era, the era of Conan. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I know. Conan has nothing to do with Marvel Comics, sadly.
Bummer.
Shuma Gorath sought to return the mind of the Ancient One himself, and Strange entered his mentor's mind to confront the creature. After losing a battle, the Ancient One himself asked Strange to slay him rather than allow Shuma Gorath passage to Earth through his mind. The Ancient One's physical death made him one with eternity, and Strange inherited the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme, guardian of the entire universe. Excuse me, I thought when Doctor Strange went to New York, he became Sorcerer Supreme. It's very confusing because a lot of characters call him Sorcerer Supreme, but that was my mistake.
That's okay.
Seeking solace from his new burdens, Steve, as I'm going to call him.
Our buddy Steve
Strange attempted to use
Steve Strange
attempted to use his power to revive his brother Victor using spells from the Book of Ashanti.
I don't think that ever works out well.
Well, unfortunately, Stephen did not realize that he had read actually the vampiric verses, imbuing Victor with the potential for resurrection as a vampire. Thinking the spells had failed, Doctor Strange returned his brother's body to cold storage.
Oh, that's right. He's in a meat locker.
Yeah. Now, the Book of Ashanti is a big Doctor Strange thing.
Is it written about the R&B singer? Because that's all I can
Don't know what that is, so I'm moving on. So let me tell you what the Book of Ashanti is.
Cool.
The Book of Ashanti contains spells of defensive magic and is indestructible. Its counterpart, the Darkhold, contains all the knowledge of black magic in the Marvel Universe and is likewise indestructible.
Okay.
It is possible to destroy single pages of either book, but the balancing spell in the other book is destroyed as well to maintain a mystical balance. So I kind of read that. So if you destroy a page in one book, the corresponding page in the other book is destroyed.
To keep balance in the world.
A collective of 3 powerful magical beings, Agamotto, Oshutar, and Hogoth, known as the Vishanti, must allow the spell to be destroyed in either book.
Ooh.
And even though the Book of Ashanti is a tome of benevolent magic, the spells within can still be dangerous when used improperly. Now, you might be thinking, hey, I know some of those terms. I know Agamotto. I know Hogoth. It's because Doctor Strange invokes their names a lot of time, and Doctor Strange, one of his main components that he wears is that little circle that holds his cape. It's called the Eye of Agamotto.
Hey, I know that one.
Yep. It is heavily rumored, as again, we have not seen the Doctor Strange movie at this time. A lot of people think that that's going to be a gem of the Infinity Gems.
Yes, that is a very popular theory.
Also, the Eye of Agamotto was seen in Thor 1 in Odin's chamber.
It sure was.
Okay. Who knows whether it'll be the same Eye of Agamotto or not? Who knows?
Just a fun Easter egg.
Yep. Now, apart from the spells and mystic knowledge that the Book of Ashanti contains, it also contains information about persons and events.
Oh.
And it is unknown how the book is able to contain up-to-date and recent information, even though the book was written thousands of years ago.
Magic!
Yep. The first owner of the book was the Atlantean sorcerer Varney from around 18,000 BC.
Sure.
The next owner was the Babylonian god Marduk Kurios.
Sure.
Marduk set a griffin to guard the book. And the sorcerer known as the Ancient One traveled back in time to 4000 BC and defeated the griffin and returned the book to 20th century.
Cool.
The Ancient One remained the book's owner despite a brief loss when the dark wizard Kalu returned the book to the griffin until he deemed his student Dr. Strange worthy of taking it. And Dr. Strange, of course, keeps the book in his townhouse library in New York's Greenwich Village.
Yes.
Which has the most impeccable security features one can have.
Evidently.
And even though Doctor Strange has the tomes of the Ancient One, I bet there is one tome that he does not have.
You think so?
And that is Geek History Lesson Extra.
What?
This week's topic, if you don't know about Geek History Lesson, this week's topic, Geek History Lesson Extra, is could Doctor Strange beat other magical users in fiction? I'm talking about Dr. Fate, I'm talking about Harry Potter, I'm talking about Sabrina, and more. Now, Geek History Lesson Extra, of course, is our exclusive Patreon podcast, exclusively for our patrons. Can you tell it's exclusive?
It is very exclusive.
Over at patreon.com/Jawiin, Jawiin. And if you would like to listen to it, head over there and donate at the $5 a month level. But if that's too much ancient script for you to spend a month, we get it. But you can still support the show in other ways over there and get yourself some cool perks. Patreon.com/Jawiin. We thank you for your support in helping to keep the Mind University running and the demons at bay.
God bless you.
No. Vashanti bless you.
Oh, Stephen Strange bless you.
Back to Doctor Strange, who at the time wasn't feeling that well.
Oh, bummer.
See,
Why?
Doctor Strange,
Why?
he felt that his magical powers had become severely diminished, and he was basically possessed by a little-known entity for a while.
Okay.
As a result of this, Doctor Strange felt it was necessary to take a leave from the Defenders in order to renew his commitment to the mystic arts in order to keep his powers at their peak.
So we had a vow renewal with the mystic arts?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
The Defenders continued on without him, and later Doctor Strange would rejoin the group when they required his assistance.
That's cool. So he kind of remains like a reserve defender. So whenever they need him, they like send him a magical text message and he shows up.
Yes, and smoke signals.
Yeah, of course. Smokes. I should have known.
Yeah. Soon in the future, Strange would cast the Darkhold's famed Montese Formula, a spell which destroyed all vampires within the Earthrealm. Now, you remember, the Darkhold is the opposite book to the Book of Ashanti.
I remember.
Yes. The cryogenically stored body of Victor Strange, however, was passed over, because remember, he was sort of vampiric.
I remember.
Because it had been enchanted with the powers of the Book of Ashanti. With the book ultimately being a tome of protection when applied to vampires.
Well, that's really convenient.
So Victor's body survived.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in the Dark Dimension, Clea had returned to lead the rebellion against its current ruler, Umar, who she learned was her mother. She finally learned that.
Oh, that's convenient.
Clea overthrew Umar and took the throne with Strange's help, but her responsibilities as ruler of the Dark Dimension and his as Sorcerer Supreme of the Earthrealm meant the two would be forced to separate.
No.
Upon returning to Earth, however, Strange's role as Sorcerer Supreme was challenged by the covetous alien Earthrona.
Okay.
At one point, the struggle against Earthrona forced Strange to destroy his own collection of talismans, tomes, and artifacts to prevent Earthrona from taking control of them. It was later revealed that Agamotto, one of the three Vishanti, had intervened and sequestered the collection away into a dimension the moment Strange seemed to destroy them.
Ah, so destroyed, but not really destroyed.
Convenient retcon.
Comics.
With the artifacts removed, the barriers between dimensions that they had once established weakened.
Oh no.
And the Earth was assaulted by a number of once pacified mystic threats.
Okay.
Strange met the threats with the extra-dimensional novice mystic Rintra, who was eventually joined by Kalu, an old rival of the Ancient One and master of life-draining black magic.
Oh no.
Weakened by the loss of his artifacts, Strange reluctantly accepted Kalu's offer to teach him the black arts.
No, not the black arts.
So Doctor Strange knows more black magic now.
Okay.
But it's all good because Doctor Strange soon returned to the Dark Dimension.
Yeah.
And he was like, Clea.
Yes, Steve.
Clea.
Steve.
Should I be like Benedict Cumberbatch?
Well, we don't know if he's going to be American or not, really.
Clea.
Steve.
Call me Steven.
Steve.
Clea, we have talked about this before. I love to be called Steven.
Steve.
God damn it. By the hoary hosts of Helgoth. Clea, I have studied the dark magic.
Steve, we talked about this. You're not supposed to study dark magic.
I have studied the dark magic, Claire. And it has given me a revelation.
What's that, Steve?
That we must be married.
Oh, cool.
Marry me in the dark dimension because I know the dark magic of your heart.
Okay, Steve.
That was easy.
I'm assuming she said yes.
Doctor Strange married Clea in the dark dimension. And because they got married, she decided to come live on Earth with him again.
Because they were married?
Because
like
they
that
were
made
married.
it okay? Like they could like live in like in wedlock together?
Listen, she can just let the dark dimension do whatever.
I guess.
Because she's married, right? Strange took Rintrah as his new apprentice, and an apparition of Agamotto restored Strange's seemingly lost collection, very conveniently.
That's nice.
And with the collection restored, Earth returned to the status quo.
Nice.
Now, Strange and Clea were soon drawn back to the dark dimension, as both Dormammu and Umar, remember her mother?
I do.
Sought to reclaim the throne. Umar ultimately won, leaving Clea exiled on Earth.
No.
And while Clea sought allies to mount an offensive, Strange and others were drawn up in the fight of the Infinity Gauntlet-wielding Thanos of Titan.
Wow, that sounds so epic when you say it like that.
The death-worshipping Thanos used the Gauntlet's immensely powerful Infinity Gems to eradicate half of the universe's population.
That's so many.
Yep. Before the heroes defeated him and used the same power to undo the damage. Yep. However, attempts to claim Strange's position of Sorcerer Supreme were not to an end, even years after he attained the title and lost and again won back his station.
That seems exhausting.
It's pretty exhausting. And basically being Sorcerer Supreme basically kind of feels like you're just constantly fighting for your title.
Yeah.
Like every day a poser's going to show up and be like, I should be Sorcerer Supreme. Magic!
Right. It's not even like an election cycle is coming every 4 years. Just like all the time people are trying to be the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yep. Now, Doctor Strange soon formed alliances with other supernatural heroes, manipulating the formation of the Midnight Suns, a loose group including his vampire hunting allies known as Morbius, the vampire from Spider-Man, Ghost Rider, and Blaze.
Cool.
Now, these warriors were actually the last in a long line of Midnight Suns, destined to confront the demonic scourges of Zarathos and Lilith. He also briefly tutored the young sorcerer Augustine Philip, who ultimately chose to abandon sorcery.
Good for him.
So it was meaningless. Doctor Strange also fought in the Infinity War, which isn't as cool as the Infinity Gauntlet. And he also began assembling secret defender teams.
Okay. That's cool.
Yep. Doctor Strange was also at one time abducted by the Goddess, who collected 33 of the most spiritually attuned heroes in the universe to aid her in her Infinity Crusade, the third part of the whole Infinity Gauntlet meaningless storylines, and an attempt to purge the universe of evil.
Okay.
Mesmerized by the Goddess, Doctor Strange joined her crusade, and while his physical form served her, he sent his astral form to keep tabs on his brother. Now, the reason why he did this was because at this time, Victor Strange had woke up, and he adopted the identity of Chiron, a costumed hero and deadly vigilante.
Stop it.
But Chiron Strange realized that he had become pretty violent, taking out the stress of his cold storage life.
Yeah, next to Walt Disney.
And he said to take his own life.
Okay.
Yep. Doctor Strange again had to defend his title as Sorcerer Supreme, this time from Salome, a winged member of the mysterious Blood Race, and allegedly the first Earth-born Sorcerer Supreme from over 20,000 years ago.
Right, of course.
Salome easily reclaimed the mantle from a weakened Doctor Strange and began gathering followers to help her rule the Earth. Unable to stand against Salome, Strange secluded himself in a pocket dimension.
Hey, people do that in Marvel.
Yep. From that dimension, he dispatched 2 magical constructs based upon himself to tend to his earthly affairs. The first was Vincent Stevens.
Hey, that guy.
Vincent Stevens became a cunning businessman and built a fortune around which to develop the so-called techno-magic.
Okay.
The other was a being called Strange.
Simply Strange. I like that.
A masked figure who fought along the Midnight Suns and gathered artifacts for Strange to use against Salome. Now, possessing a few artifacts, and he was mystically poisoned by Salome, Doctor Strange realized that he would have to focus on developing his weakest discipline, elemental magic, in order to reclaim his mantle of Sorcerer Supreme.
I think it's interesting that elemental magic is his weakness.
Yeah. Now, Doctor Strange had barely finished enhancing his sorcery when Stevens and Strange rebelled against him.
Okay, so he's got these two constructs that are like basically parts of his personality.
That are controlled by him.
And they're like, yeah, we really just like want to fight you now. Because business is cool, but being Sorcerer Supreme would be better.
It's also, remember that at the beginning of the lesson I told you about the gobbledygook?
Yeah.
This is 100% 90s magic-y gobbledygook.
You're so right.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm trying to make sense of it.
Yep, don't make sense. Just go with it. Gobbledygook.
Okay, going with it.
Yep. Magic. So, Stevens was apparently destroyed in the resulting conflict. And Strange went to the Dark Dimension.
Oh, I know that place.
And he merged with the Rebellion's Nobel and soon became Paradox.
Paradox.
Yep.
That's a cool name.
Now, Salam, meanwhile, enlisted Wong against his old master.
Wong.
Because Wong has to serve the Sorcerer Supreme.
That's right.
But eventually, Wong and Stephen Strange reconciled and became equal partners. That's how Stephen brought him back to his side.
Oh, I like that.
Yep. And there's another thing about Wong was tricked because Wong had this ancient love, and Salam was like, I can bring him back to life. And then Stephen Strange was like, look, Salam's lying to you. Come be with me, buddy. And Wong was like, I'm your buddy. It's very convoluted. That's why I didn't really want to talk about it.
Sure. No problem.
But I just talked about it. But Wong and Stephen Strange are now equals.
I like that. That's really cool.
But Wong still refers to Strange as master from time to time because old habits are hard to break.
Well, it's like that Alfred thing.
After defeating Salam, Doctor Strange temporarily assumed a younger, more violent persona as he began to track down and terminate the illegal operations established by his construct Stevens. You may ask, why is he doing this? Why is he angrier?
Why is he angrier?
It's the 90s, folks.
That's exactly. I knew you were going to say that.
And from here, we're going to skip ahead a bit because Doctor Strange gets featured less and less because he wasn't as popular anymore.
Aw.
And didn't really get a major beat until House of M.
Ooh, House of M.
Yep.
I like House of M.
Now, when the Scarlet Witch suffered a catastrophic mental breakdown in Avengers Disassembled, Doctor Strange used the Eye of Agamotto to stop her with a memory so terrible that she collapsed from it and ended the chaos she was inadvertently causing by killing half the Avengers.
Yeah, just casual murder.
Yep. After this, the Scarlet Witch created a fake world. And eventually, Strange and his team inside the fake world put the world proper and destroyed the alternate timeline. Now, Wanda changed the world back to its original form, but in the process, she depowered 90% of the entire mutant population. Surviving mutants and ex-mutants referred to this as M Day, the worst day in mutant history. Strange was unable to break the successfully wrought spell or even find Wanda with his powers afterward, and later a troubled Strange claimed that as his job was to prevent exactly something like House of M from happening, in its aftermath, he had failed completely.
He's not wrong. I mean, if we're just gonna be completely honest about it.
And then Civil War happened.
Hey, look at that.
Ashley, what's that?
So something really terrible happens and the government says superheroes should register. And Iron Man says, yes, they should. And Captain America says, no, they shouldn't. And the entire Marvel Universe picks their sides. They fight. Captain America dies.
Well, Strange had friends on both sides of the war. Doctor Strange went into seclusion in the Arctic, fasting and meditating nonstop for 40 days.
Because nothing helps you like not eating.
Nope. And as Sorcerer Supreme, he could not take sides in the matter, for his given duties did not include influencing the evolution of the superhuman role in society.
True, very true.
Which I think is kind of a cliche.
It's because they didn't want to put him in the story.
Yep. He prayed for an outcome that would benefit mankind and spilled the least amount of blood, and he later regretted his involvement in the Civil War. After the conclusion of the war, Doctor Strange was granted immunity to registration, yet the immunity did not extend to him openly breaking the act with others, like when he joined Luke Cage's New Avengers team and let Luke Cage's New Avengers team live in the Sanctum Sanctorum.
Yeah.
In Greenwich Village.
Although I like that he did that. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Now, Doctor Strange, of course, was a member of the Illuminati. Remember I mentioned them?
Yeah, the white guys.
Yep. And the Illuminati was alarmed at the continuing destruction caused by the Hulk.
Well, that tends to be a concern in the Marvel
And they
universe.
agreed to exile the Hulk into space.
Oh.
Now, this led to Planet Hulk and eventually World War Hulk, where the Hulk came back to Earth very pissed and they fight.
Yes.
Now, Doctor Strange entered the Hulk's mind, reminding them of their history and their friendship, as well as insisting that the bomb that destroyed his love on Sakaar was not planted by the Illuminati. Just as the Hulk reverted to his Bruce Banner form, a sympathetic Strange presented himself in physical form. Banner turned back into the Hulk and crushed Doctor Strange's hands.
Oof.
And Doctor Strange's hands limited his magic abilities, his crushed hands then. And then, of course, the Hulk was later defeated by the Sentry and all of those.
Yes, he was taken down.
And then Secret Invasion and Dark Reign happened. And Ashley, can you give us some brief explanations of what's Secret Invasion? Brief explanation of what's Secret Invasion. One sentence.
One sentence?
We get one sentence.
Secret Invasion is when you learn that a bunch of the Silver Age version of the Marvel heroes that you love were actually Skrulls, and then they have to reintegrate into society and people fight Skrulls.
Yes. What is Dark Reign?
I don't know that much about Dark Reign. Dark Reign is when Norman Osborn is in...
Rand Shield.
Rand Shield.
It was the immediate follow-up to Secret Invasion.
I wanted to say that he was president, but I knew that was Luther.
No. After using the magical arts incorrectly and using dark magic.
You know, if dark magic is such a pain, why don't you just not use it?
Claire.
Yo, Steve.
Claire.
Yeah, Steve.
I've told you before, I hate being called Steve. Call me Steven, please.
Steve, it's fine.
God damn it, by the fiery fires of Ashanti. Claire, I have used the dark magic again.
All right.
I am filled with dark magic. It burns my soul.
You sound like a Robin Hood villain. I just think the dark magic thing is sort of funny for me because it is such a trope of like magical based storytelling that like I'm a good guy, but I'm going to use, it's Jedis.
Well, here's the interesting thing about it. We're getting pretty close to modern right now Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we're coming right up on it.
In modern times, Doctor Strange, it's this big deal that he used this dark magic. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing, as I just told you his history. He uses it every other storyline.
Yeah, every time something really big and scary happens and he just whips out the dark magic.
Yeah, he's just like, I shouldn't use the dark magic. I should never do that again. Here's more dark magic. Oh, I should never do that again.
He's like the guy, he's like the person on the diet who's like, oh, I love chocolate, but it's so bad for me. Oh, that's what he's like.
I gotta eat chocolate.
Sorry to derail the lesson.
So, no, it's fine. So Doctor Strange, he used some dark magic. Yeah. He felt he was no longer a pure host, and he decided that it was time to pass on the mantle of the Sorcerer Supreme.
No.
So Strange contacted Wiccan. And he decided to find out whether Wiccan should be the next Sorcerer Supreme.
I forgot about this.
He offered to make Wiccan his apprentice, but soon the Hood and Dormammu confronted them to take the Eye of Agamotto, the thing that proves that you're the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
Until the Eye of Agamotto eventually chose Brother Voodoo, having been granted the power and gifts of the office of Sorcerer Supreme by the Eye of Agamotto and the Ancient One's spirit. Now, the Ancient One's spirit intervened and confronted Dormammu himself, passing the initiation and dispelling him.
Okay, cool.
I'm sorry, Brother Voodoo. I'm messing. The Ancient One basically was like, Brother Voodoo, you're my man. You're gonna be it. Here's the Agamotto. And Brother Voodoo used it to dispel Dormammu.
Oh, okay, cool.
Proving himself to be the Sorcerer Supreme.
Right, so he's the cool guy now.
Now, though Strange did not escape the battle entirely unscathed, he retained the power to manipulate magic, though to a far lesser extent. And he was apparently redeemed in his own eyes somewhat to observe the new Dr. Voodoo battle supernatural menaces with ease. So he was like, I made the right choice.
Cool.
This also leads to Doctor Strange in a miniseries just called Strange, where he's not the Sorcerer Supreme. It is a terrible miniseries. Never read it.
All right.
Okay.
Noted.
When Agamotto was cast out of the Vishanti and had most of his power stripped from him, he attacked the New Avengers in order to reclaim the Eye of Agamotto from Dr. Voodoo, as it was the only artifact that could defeat him. Now, here's the thing. Brother Voodoo takes on the title of Dr. Voodoo, even though he's not a doctor, so...
But whatever, it's just like Thor becomes a title at one point.
In the battle with Agamotto, Dr. Voodoo sacrifices himself and destroys the eye in the process.
No good.
This led Doctor Strange to rejoin the New Avengers to help protect from magic. And sometime after that, Dr. Stephen Strange had to use some more dark magic to defeat an enemy and save his friends.
All right.
Bring, 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 bring.
Hello?
Clea.
Yo, Steve-O.
Clea, I'm Steven.
Yeah, Steve-O.
For God's sake, would you call me Steven?
Yeah, Steve Brow.
By the hairy host of Ashanti, goddammit. I have used the dark magic again, Clea.
Click.
No, you can't hang up on me. I have the dark magic. I can hear you, Clea.
I just hung up on you,
I
Steve.
can hear you breathe. I'm still talking to you through the dark magic. Yes, that sounds like...
Steve, where am I in the house?
You call me Steven! I am filled to the brim with dark magic!
You could do like some crunches or something and work it off.
Is that true?
I guess.
I might.
I don't know, I'm from like the dark place or whatever, so...
I might try that. So he used the dark magic again. Afterward, the Ancient One appeared on the battlefield and commended Doctor Strange for saving the others without harming them, for using dark magic without losing control, and for continuing to act as a hero and defender of the world. He restored Doctor Strange to his former position as Sorcerer Supreme and gave him the artifacts of the office, the Eye of Agamotto, which was destroyed, and the Cloak of Levitation once again. So nothing's changed.
Awesome.
Shortly after becoming Sorcerer Supreme again, Doctor Strange was called upon for a meeting of the Illuminati again.
Hey, those guys.
The Black Panther had experienced an event known as an incursion,
Okay.
in which two universes collide with each other, and each universe is Earth as the point of impact. He called on the Illuminati to try and find a solution to the problem. Another incursion followed shortly after, and the Illuminati decided to assemble the Infinity Gauntlet to stop it, and Stephen Strange supplied his Infinity Gem. Now, you see, what I didn't tell you earlier is that the Illuminati, so many eyes, the Illuminati had taken the Infinity Gems and hidden them away to ensure that they could never be used by Thanos again.
Okay, cool. That seems like a reasonable thing to do.
Sure. Captain America wielded the gauntlet and managed to avert the incursion, but the gauntlet was destroyed in the process. And due to his unwillingness to do whatever it took to stop the incursions, such as considering the destruction of another Earth to save their own, Captain America was voted out of the Illuminati and Stephen Strange erased his memories.
All right.
Doctor Strange resolved to use the full resources at his disposal as Sorcerer Supreme to find a way to stop the incursions, calling on the power of a tome of the darkest of black magics.
Oh my God.
The Blood Bible.
Oh my God.
Ring, 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 ring.
What?
Claire.
Steve.
Claire.
Stevie-O.
For God's sake, call me Stephen.
Steven, Bo Beaven.
Claire, I've read a book.
Oh yeah? What was it, like House of M or something?
No, it was called 50 Shades of Grey.
Ooh, you should read Sunstone.
I also read the Blood Bible.
Yeah, we have that here.
It is full of the darkest magics, Claire.
Steve-O,
Yes.
how you doing?
I am full of the black magic.
Yeah, but you were last week too.
Was I?
You were.
Oh, okay. Then I'll call you next week.
Oh, okay. Bye, babe.
Click. And now he used the Blood Bible, right?
Sure, of course.
And Dr. Stephen Strange traveled to the Sinner's Market in the mystic dimension, the Lost Lands, on a quest to find more power.
Oh my God.
He was led to the Resolute Throne, where he sought to make a deal. The throne deals in degrees of godhood, with a fifth of a man's soul buying him a fifth of the power of God. There, Stephen Strange made a deal to sell the entirety of his soul.
How many fifths are in your soul?
Infinitum.
Because I think there should only be 5.
Yep. Now, Dr. Stephen Strange left the Avengers to use his new power to find the one that was responsible for the decay of the multiverse. He learned that it was two parties, Raboom Allah, or Raboom Alal. I don't know how to say that out loud.
I have no idea.
And the Ivory Kings. Now, the Ivory Kings have another name. They're also known as the Beyonders.
Okay.
That should sound familiar to you, Ashley, as
Yeah.
we reviewed a certain thing.
I know who the Beyonders are.
Would tell the audience, who are the Beyonders?
The Beyonders are basically these all-powerful spatial entities.
Yeah, sure.
And a Beyonder is responsible for the original Secret War.
Mm-hmm. Now, Doctor Strange soon tracked down Rabum Alal, who was then revealed to be the Doctor Doom of Earth 616. Doctor Doom informed Strange of his origins as Rabum Alal and revealed his ultimate plan to defeat the Beyonders. He had different molecule men from all across the multiverse that he'd captured, and he was going to use them against the Beyonders, as that was the only thing that the Beyonders feel was this molecule man.
Okay.
In a last-ditch attempt to save the multiverse, Doom took Strange and the molecule men to confront the Beyonders, and he was able to destroy the Beyonders and harness all of their power using the molecule man of Earth 616 as a conduit. However, Doom's accomplishment cost the death of thousands of universes in the multiverse, leaving only a dozen left.
Okay.
When the multiverse finally perished in the final incursion between Earth 616 and Earth 1610, do you know what Earth 1610 is?
No, I have no idea.
It's the ultimate Marvel Earth.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Duh.
Doom used the power of the Beyonders to salvage the remains of several realities and build a patchwork planet named Battleworld, which was ruled under his iron fist with the help of Doctor Strange, who became Battleworld's sheriff and Doom's right hand, usually acting as Doom's voice in certain matters. Now, this was, of course, the event known as Secret Wars.
Was that supposed to have made any sense?
Yes and no and yes at the same time, which is classic Jonathan Hickman.
Sure, I mean, fair, but that doesn't make any sense.
Now, I'm not going to go into the details of Secret Wars because we could have a Geek History lesson specifically about Secret Wars because it is so dense.
We definitely could, and people can request it.
Sure. And you know what? I would be game for doing it.
Cool.
Now, during this event, Doom confronted Doctor Strange for disobeying him because he learned that he disobeyed him, ultimately killing him after Dr. Stephen Strange accused him of being afraid of Reed Richards once Reed Richards appeared in the Battleworld, because Reed Richards is one of the few survivors of the death of the multiverse.
Yeah. Mr. Fantastic.
Yep. Now, following Doom's fall, during which Mr. Fantastic beat him and acquired all his power and rebuilt the multiverse, Reed Richards resurrected Doctor Strange with his memories of Battleworld erased.
Okay.
Now, with a new lease on life, Doctor Strange continued protecting the normal world from magical threats after Earth returned, and soon encountered a new threat that was trying to kill all the Sorcerer Supremes from around the multiverse. And that's in the Jason Aaron Marvel Now, all different, all new, all something Marvel Now series, which we are currently in. And it's actually a pretty good series.
Great.
And that's it for the comic books. So let's move on into other media.
Okay.
Dr. Stephen Strange has basically appeared in every Marvel cartoon at one point or another, and he has so many appearances that they are too numerous to recount.
Okay.
He will be played by Benedict Cumberbatch in his second live-action movie.
What?
Yeah, what's that I hear in your confusion? That's right. Doctor Strange, the movie that's coming out, is his second live-action movie. Doctor Strange appeared, played by Peter Hooten. Sure. In a live-action TV movie called Doctor Strange, which premiered on September 6, 1978. In this film, Stephen Strange was a psychiatry resident rather than an experienced neurosurgeon, and John Mills appeared as Thomas Lindmer, whom director-writer Philip de Gruyter added to the story as a stand-in for the Ancient One. So the new film is his second film, not his first film.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. And that ends it for Doctor Strange. Let's move on into recommended reading.
Where we are going to recommend stuff that you can read. And if you want to find all of these and our entire history of recommended reading, you can go to geekhistorylesson.com/recommended reading. There's little Amazon widgets. You click on them, you buy the books, and a little bit comes back to support our Sanctum Sanctorum.
My first pick for recommended reading is Doctor Strange, The Oath, written by Brian K. Vaughan, drawn by Marcus Martin. It is the best Doctor Strange story ever. Basically, a description of that is Dr. Stephen Strange embarks on the most important paranormal investigation of his career as he sets out to solve an attempted murder, his own.
Cool.
And with his most trusted friend at death's door, Strange returns to the unexpected corners of the Marvel Universe to recruit a new ally. It is Doctor Strange trying to save Wong.
Oh, I love Wong.
And
Nice.
I won't tell you what Wong is suffering from, and I won't tell you what Doctor Strange does, but it is a beautiful book. It is a great book. The night nurse is in it.
Hey, Claire Temple.
Yep. And it is the best Doctor Strange story, bar none.
Cool. I love that.
Okay. The next one is Doctor Strange and Doctor Doom, Triumph and Torment.
That's a great title.
I didn't talk about this at all because I think this is a book that should be read. This is a little bit of what a suggestion from Wizard Magazine back in the day. It is a great and weird Doctor Strange story. Now, the description of this storyline is every year on Midsummer's Eve, Victor Von Doom clashes with the forces of evil in a vain attempt to free his mother's soul from hell. Only when Dr. Stephen Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, is convinced to join the fight, does the outcome have any hope of changing. But these two will have to make allies to journey to Mephisto's infernal realm.
Hey!
Now, this is the story where you learn that Dr. Doom was almost a Sorcerer Supreme, and also it hints back to the Fantastic Four's past because the machine that Dr. Doom was trying to build was to travel to hell to save his mother.
Cool. That sounds like a really great story.
And my last suggestion is Doctor Strange, Volume 1, The Way of the Weird. This is the Jason Aaron and Chris Bacalo series that was just published. It's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. There's a new guy showing up. It's like, I'm going to kill all the Sorcerer Supremes in the universe. And so he shows up and he tries to kill Doctor Strange. And it's a pretty good storyline.
Great.
It's a lot of fun. So I think that we will skip the discussion for this Geek History lesson because it's kind of long and we've already talked a lot about magic. But if you want to hear a good discussion, go listen to our Geek History lesson extra over at patreon.com/Jawiin. And now on to the teaching tweet.
The final part of the podcast where in 140 characters or less, Professor Jason will sum up his entire lesson.
Doctor Strange. He's the Sorcerer Supreme. He's not, he is. He's not, he is. Pick a title and go with it.
Thank you, Jerry Seinfeld.
I'll give you another one. Here you go.
Okay.
Doctor Strange. He's the Sorcerer Supreme. He's not, he is. He's not, he is. Pick a title and go with it.
You got a little done nods at the end. I love it.
Oh, Andy. And that is it for our very long, very convoluted Doctor Strange lesson.
Ooh, good job putting that all in one linear timeline.
Ba-ding, 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 ba-ding.
Hey, Steve.
How did you know it was me, Claire?
Well, I'm kind of magic, so.
Yes, you are from the dark dimension.
Mm-hmm.
Call me Stephen.
Yeah, Steve-O, what do you need?
I said call me Stephen.
Look, Stevie, if this is about more dark magic,
Clea,
just call me next week, all right,
I
babe?
need you to call me by my proper name, because if you don't know, I am possessed by the dark magic.
Should, call your dad Lord Carlton. He can probably help you.
That is an old reference to episode 0 of Geek History Lesson. I only know that, Claire, because I am possessed and full to the brim of dark magic.
Did you try the crunches?
Yes, I did several of them. They did not work.
Maybe you should try sit-ups or push-ups or something.
Crunches are basically sit-ups, Claire.
Not if you're doing them
no,
right.
that does not help. You do not want to test me on this, Claire. I am full of the dark magic.
You're full of the dark magic every Friday.
Yes, I know. We've discussed this before, but I really I feel bad. I need to get rid of the dark magic.
All right, well, you just hop on over to the dark dimension and expel it, okay?
That's where you are, right?
Yeah, babe.
Will they give me a fair price for the dark magic?
Well, I'm the queen, so I can make that happen.
I see. Is that also the dimension where the buildings fold in like that one movie? Not Insomnia, I believe. not Memento.
Interstellar?
Inception, there we go.
No,
Inception.
wrong. No, we don't own that. That's not part of our stuff.
That's not us.
No.
No. That's not because of the dark magic?
No, I think it's a dream.
All right.
It's got Bane in it, though, and Robin.
Okay. All right. I thought it had me in it for some reason. I had a
and Scarecrow.
a weird dream about that. Never mind. All right, I'll come over soon. Let's go hit some in and out in the dark dimension.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I forgot to. It's actually called out and in. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Love. So, guys, if you want to hear more Doctor Strange calls, you need to make sure you subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher and SoundCloud. Plus, don't forget, we're over at Google Play Music as well. Geek History Lesson is now on Google Play Music.
Awesome.
And if you're going to head over to iTunes, please leave us a review, because that's where you guys can show your love, and we'll read it on the podcast like Brockaby.
Aww.
He or she said, "This podcast is quite simply the most entertaining, educational podcast there is. Jason and Ashley are phenomenal and hilarious. Whenever you follow geek culture closely or simply dabble, this podcast is something for you. You will laugh, you may cry, and you may even learn the lyrics to an old pop song from the 80s. Download this podcast now if you haven't already, and pay attention, students, because class is in session."
Nice.
Yeah,
Thank you, Brockaby.
Thank you, Brockaby. That's really cool. So if they want to suggest more Doctor Strange phone calls in the future, or if they want us to actually cover the new Secret Wars, where can they do that, Ashley?
Well, you can be like our plethora of TAs on this episode, and you can suggest that at geekhistorylesson.com or facebook.com/geekhistorylesson. There's a bunch of ways to contact us in both of those places.
Yes, and real quick, thank you again to the ones that suggested Doctor Strange: Kyle Morgan, A Story in the End, Epic Face Master, Andrew Lewis Perry, James Pite Westrom, Ritvik Rahan, at Disciple of Ren, at Paradigm Shift PC, and Aaron Jack Edwards. Thank you guys for suggesting Doctor Strange.
You're
we hope
the best.
You weren't annoyed by all the calls to Clea.
They weren't.
I loved them. All right. You can come complain to us about Doctor Strange calls on Twitter at me, at Jawiin, Jawiin, or at Ashley V. Robinson. Please tell us, I want to see hashtag Doctor Strange yes or hashtag Doctor Strange no. So yeah, hashtag Doctor Strange yes if you like the calls, hashtag Doctor Strange no if you did not like them.
Better see no-nos.
Yeah, I don't want to see a damn one of them. Thank you so much for listening, Jason Inman.
I am Ashley Victoria Robinson, and Sorcerer Supreme Inman. Would you please dismiss the class?
I wish I could end this podcast so simply. If only one knew how one could get rid of the dark magic! If only Claire could call me from beyond.
Bing, bing.
Hello?
Bing, bing. Hey, Stevie baby.
Hello, Cece.
I just had like this psychic feeling that you needed me, so I wanted to call.
Thank you so much, Cecilia.
How is the out and in affecting you? How is the dispelling of the dark magic?
Well, you could say there's a lot of dispelling. Food at the dark dimension is not made to the standards of the U.S.
Don't be gross, babe.
Cynthia, listen. I'm not being gross, yeah. I'm simply speaking facts about what dark magic does to digestion. Talk to me, Cece. There should be not this much laughing in the dark dimension.
You're just like so hilarious.
You did not expect me to mispronounce your name.
I didn't.
Well, I hope you know that the dark magic invokes that I leave this in the podcast, and I will.
Okay. All right.
Hashtag Doctor Strange, yes.
Yes.
Hashtag Cece.